on this computer. Sweet. All right. While we're on the ground, let's go into sexy frog stretch. Sit back into it so you feel it in your groin and your hips. And we're going to do like 15 seconds of facing straight forward. And then after like, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds, feel it out yourself. Move leaning to the left. And then 15, 20 seconds, move leaning to your right. All right, when you're feeling good out of that sexy frog, we're gonna move into kind of like an inchworm slash stand squat progression. So if you like, this is my tabletop position. Basically what I'm gonna do is lift my knees off the ground, move my hands forward so I'm in a plank. I'm tethered by my headphones, so I'm not in a full plank. But then as I move back into my tabletop position, I'm gonna rock back into a squat. Whoa, God. Headphones aren't long enough. But rock back into a squat, stand up, come back down, just roll into my tabletop position. So it should be kind of fluid, but you're like pushing off your hands to get back into that squat. Sit in a deep squat for a second, stand up, redo it. I'll take out my headphones to demonstrate.
How many of those guys? Oh, she can't hear me.
And again, do what feels good for you. I personally like to do like 4 of them, and then I feel like after 4, my body is just getting tired and I'm not warming up, I'm exercising. So if you want to do less than 4, that's up to you. If you want to do more, also up to you. When you feel good with those, let's just go into a normal inchworm. So instead of squatting in between getting on the ground, we're just going to stretch out our hamstrings. Reach your hands to your toes, walk them forward. If you can, go into a push-up at the bottom and then a down dog before you reset the rep. But again, do like 3, 4, whatever feels good for you. When I'm done with inchworms, I'm going to go into one more squat centric warm-up movement, and then we'll move into more of like the lunge family. So this is like the classic squat to stand. I'm gonna have to take out my headphone to demonstrate, I think. But starting in your inchworm position, almost reach your hands down. I'm touching my toes right now, and then I'm gonna lean into a deep squat and just kind of like sit in that squat for a second, put my hands back on my feet, and stand up. So I'm getting a stretch in my hamstrings and kind of the back of my legs when I'm just doubled over like this, and then trying to move into a deep squat, getting my hips.
Tori, are your feet hip width apart?
They're a little bit wider because my hip flexors are not very mobile. So yeah, do it in if you can do a little bit narrower than your normal squat stance, that's great. I personally can't. So I do like normal squat stance. And then if we've all done like 3 or so, I'm gonna have us go normal squat stance. Sit into the bottom of your squat with your elbows. My elbows are pushing out on my knees. Feel that in the groin and the hips. And just take a couple rocks back and forth. Your toes can come up off the ground. Your heels can come off the ground a little bit. Just rock back and forth, left and right. If you can, keep your back as upright as possible. I'm not very good at it. My back kind of arches over because I'm not super flexible in the bottom of my squat. But if you can, try to like open your chest, pull your shoulder blades back, and keep your kind of back as upright and flat as possible. And once you're there for a few seconds, slowly stand on up. How are we feeling? All right, got some thumbs ups. Guys, I invited my mom to join this workout. She didn't join she's on. She didn't join my CrossFit one yesterday, but she's here. Yes.
Is your mom Lynn?
Yeah. All right.
I can hear you.
Haha. Mom, are you doing this? Are you joining us, or are you just watching?
I can't because I'm actually working and I already had a few phone calls.
Such a shame. Thanks for joining us.
But I could only do it on my phone. I didn't have enough space on my computer.
Oh, all right.
And I need my phone to obviously answer the phone for work.
That's true. All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so
Mom,
I don't have my face on there, but I will listen for a little bit.
Thanks. These are all my ultimate frisbee friends.
Well, I don't know what I'm doing, so right now I don't see anybody.
Oh, I don't know. I've never used Zoom on my phone.
Yeah, it says your video is stopped.
I don't know how to work Zoom on your phone. You're on your own.
Okay, well, I'll try to look in a minute.
Okay. All right.
I'm
okay.
Just gonna watch you.
Okay.
Bye. Get to work.
Okay.
Bye.
One of the last warm-up exercises that we'll do is, I almost forgot my favorite one. Okay, before we get to my favorite one, we'll do a lunge with a thoracic twist. So when you're in the bottom of your lunge, right now my right leg is forward. I'm gonna take my left elbow and turn it to touch my right knee. So I'm getting kind of a twist at the bottom of my lunge and stand up. I'm gonna do 5 on my right leg first and then 5 on my left leg rather than alternating every single leg each time. So yeah, lunge with a twist, elbow to knee. And y'all, I just learned this a couple days ago. In a lunge, your weight is supposed to be like mostly on your front foot. I feel like that's been common knowledge. I've just like been doing lunges wrong for a really long time. So think about that today as we do lunges. All right, so last kind of stretching warm up is world's greatest stretch with a world's greatest stretch with the thoracic spine rotation too. So you're kind of I'm in a deep lunge with my back knee on the ground. Kind of that hip flexor stretch. And I'm going to use if my right leg is forward, my right arm is the one that's moving. So same side, arm and leg. I'm going to reach my right arm through my left arm and then turn it up towards the sky. So I'm opening my chest towards the knee that's forward. If you can do this without your back knee touching the ground, that's great. I can't.
Tori, I'm having a hard time seeing your whole body.
I'm tethered by headphones because it's too windy outside to talk into the
Yeah, I
computer.
had a hard
I'm
time seeing
sorry.
what your back leg was doing.
Okay.
Sorry.
I can only go as far as my headphones allow me to go.
Yeah. So your bottom knee is not, your back knee's not touching?
Mine is. If you can do it with your back knee not touching,
Oh.
that's harder and that's great. I choose
But
to keep my back knee on the ground.
Okay, so you touch the back knee, okay?
Yeah.
And then you reach under.
Yep. So if my left leg is forward, my right knee is on the ground.
Okay.
With my left arm, I'm going up towards the sky and then bringing it through my right arm.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
And what does this help with?
Everything. It's my favorite stretch. So I'm feeling it in my front hamstring, my front butt cheek, my hip flexors, and you're opening up your chest, your back, your shoulders with the twisting motion rather than just doing a normal lunge. Okay. All right, I got one more warm-up exercise to get us moving, and then we'll get into that part B on your screen. So we're gonna do forward marching and backwards marching. So I'm gonna take out my headphones so I can kind of demo it and do it with you. But as I go through a march, I want to like be very intentional with how I'm moving my limbs. So kind of like we talked about in that demo video of the tempo runs I put out, I want all of my angles to be like 90 degrees basically. So when I am bringing my left arm forward, I want to just stay at 90. My right arm back is my elbows also at 90 degrees. And then when I bring my left knee up, I want to keep it at 90 degrees and like flex my foot up rather than just like having it all limp. So hold on one sec. So we're gonna do like 5-10 yards of marching forward, and then we'll go 5-10 yards of marching backwards. So don't just like turn around and walk back to where you came from. We're actually going to like be marching backwards, if that makes sense. Cool. All right, who's ready for the real workout now? So before we get started on part B, I feel like I need to say a little disclaimer, as always, of like, do whatever makes you feel good. So as intense as you want to make it, or any modifications that you want to like not hurt yourself or not be uncomfortable, they're all up to your own discretion. I'm not in charge of your body in any way, shape, or form. So like I said in the beginning, the focus of all three, like B, C, and D, they should all be like slow, controlled movements that we're working on translating to game or like on-field success. So with the skater hops, it doesn't necessarily matter how fast you can do them or like how much distance you're getting, but if you like can control that movement and like be intentional about how you move. So I think we've probably all done skater hops before, but it's like the one leg lateral lunge. I will demonstrate without my headphones. And again, don't be super worried about distance or how far you're going. I think focus on kind of sticking the landing and balancing on one side, resetting, hopping to the other side. So let me see if I can get myself all in the frame. So I'm not super concerned about how far I'm going. I'm really just working on sticking the landing and like activating my core and my glute and my hamstring on the landing to make sure I'm balancing, taking a second to breathe, and then resetting, going the opposite way. So it'll be 8 reps total, 4 on each leg at your own pace. And one thing that is kind of cool to think about with skater hops is like, if you think about how we actually make cuts in a frisbee game, more often than not, we're like pushing off the inside of our foot, which sometimes feels unnatural when we're doing exercises like this. But I try to really think about how I would like make a cut. So getting low and pushing off the inside ball of my foot to kind of initiate that movement. So if that helps you in any way, think about how these movements are similar to making a cut or a jump or something in an actual game. Before we go into the second round of those, we're going to do 4 push-ups. And I would say now is a great time to work on your push-up form. So if you can't do a ton of like proper foot push-ups in a row, totally cool to go on your knees if you're working on like getting your arms back. So it sucks that I can't see all of you in person, but I would really like to see full plank extension. Clench your core, and as we go down into a push-up, pull your like shoulder blades back and pull your arms back towards your body versus I don't want to see like shoulders and elbows completely out. That would definitely hurt your shoulders. So let's see. Focus on getting triceps and elbows close to your body. And when we do knee push-ups, try to get into as much of a plank position as possible on your knees as well. It should be the same thing as a full push-up. So you're still clenching your core. Oops. Okay. If you are done with your push-ups, let's go back and do 8 more skater hops. And at your own pace, go into 4 more push-ups, take a breath, and then do 1 more round of the whole thing. All right, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Moving on to part C, which is like the bulk of the strength, I would say. I think we've all probably done Bulgarian split squats before. Next to the 3x8, it says 151x, so that's our tempo, which means we're going down in 1 second, holding at the bottom for 5 seconds, exploding up in 1 second, and then going immediately into the next rep. So if you have a chair or a couch or a curb or anything to rest your back foot on, ideally the back foot should be elevated. Right now my computer is resting on my step stool, so I might just use the curb next to me, but if you have something that's like knee height or chair height, that's perfect. Back foot rests on the chair. Try to get your back knee as close to the ground as possible while keeping a lot of weight in the front leg. And we're gonna go down in 1 second, but make it a controlled descent. And then we're all gonna hold at the bottom for 5 seconds and come up. Let's see. Oh no.
Are you going to count for us and we do it together, or we just
No,
do it
you
in
do it
solo?
on your own. I think we can all count to 5.
It's been a tough week.
Amen. Does anybody have any questions about split squats? Because what we can do is sorry, I should have said this, before we start, whoops, there goes everything I own, blowing away. If you have a pull-up bar in your house or some way to do like a pull exercise, that's great. If you have a resistance band, we can also do a row with a resistance band if you don't have a weight. I brought out my gallon of water, so I'm gonna do a row with my gallon of water. So before we start on split squats, I'll go through the row and then we can just do the cycle quickly and not have to like stop in between each exercise. 1 second. Does anybody only have a resistance band and not have anything they're using for weight? Does everybody have something they're using as a weight? Thumbs ups? Okay, cool, we all got weights. So we won't do the resistance band row, we'll just do a weight one. I'm using my gallon of water and oh my God, everything I own is blowing away. My coffee. My gallon of water was holding my yoga mat down. All right, so cues for row is to keep like a flexed and flat back. I don't want to see like the yanking the lawnmower chain like super hard. This should be a slow and controlled lift. I'm clenching my shoulder blades back and I'm pulling the gallon of water or the weight kind of to like the bottom of my boob, not the middle of my chest, but kind of pulling it back, clenching my shoulder blades together, and I'm feeling this in my tricep. And the tempo is 2 seconds. I guess it's 1 second up and takes 2 seconds to lower back down. So the slowest part is the descent. Everything else should be pretty consistently fast. Are there any questions on dead bugs, split squats, or rows? Neat. All right. So at your own pace, let's do 3 rounds of split squat, dead bugs, and rows. Y'all, we look good. Nice work, everyone.
These squats make me want to die.
How we feeling? All right. Those slow split squats, man, they're easy until they're not, you know? All right. So the iso holds, yeah, I agree. Bulgarian split squats are probably my second least favorite exercise. I hate thrusters more than I hate split squats, but split squats are second. Like, I just feel like I never get better at them, and that's so frustrating. But they're really good for frisbee / like any running power speed sport. I feel like they've really helped me with my running form too, because I'm like trying to move my elbows and explode out of the split squat. So I think they help. They just really suck.
Do
But
people feel uneven in those? Because I feel super uneven.
yeah, so that's a really good point. When I put out the first couple things for like home workouts, that's why a lot of stuff is like single leg hip lifts or single leg lunges, trying to work on like single leg box squats, because as frisbee players, we like step out one way. And even when we step out the other way, it's still using like the same leg. Both of the sides of our body aren't getting worked evenly. So hopefully we can kind of fix some of those balances before a club season starts. That's one of my goals, is to keep working on single side exercises, even with our arms too. Like my right arm gets way more use than my left arm because I'm only throwing righties for the most part. So even working on like, instead of rowing with 2 dumbbells at once, like working on one side versus the other not only helps activate your core, but also works on our left side not using our right side to compensate. All right, so yeah, like let's all take a few seconds before we get into iso holds, because these can kind of be done at your own pace on your own time too, but they're really, really useful. And I think now is the perfect time to like start introducing them, since we kind of don't know what's happening with the season and when things are starting. Iso holds are like the least glamorous lifting, strengthening exercise you can do, but I think they're really helpful for like getting our bodies acclimated and used to the movements that we use all the time. So then iso lunge is literally exactly what it sounds like, with my back knee hovering above the ground. So knee not touching the ground, but right above the ground. Literally stay in a lunge position for as long as you can, and we're going to accumulate 2.5 minutes. So all of us are going to time on our own. Let's say I can only do 15 seconds. That's fine. I stop my stopwatch at 15 seconds, take a breather, go back to it when I feel ready, and I'm just going to accumulate 2.5 minutes for each leg. They really suck, like, and they just don't look cool. Like, it's definitely not the exercise that I'm like, sick, this is going on the Insta story. But I do think they're really, really useful in building up kind of endurance and stamina now is going to be really helpful during the actual frisbee season, when you're stepping out for 6 games in one day kind of thing. So yeah, let's take one more minute before we start these. Taking a nice coffee break.
Can you also explain the other ones while we break before?
Yeah, totally. So an iso, the second one, iso single leg balance with hip flexor. I have done these sitting on the ground in physical therapy, where my hands are beside me and I just raise one leg like 2 inches off the ground, and like, oh my God, that hurts your hip flexor so bad. Like, you're kind of engaging your core and your glute and your hamstring to keep your leg balanced off the ground. These ones that I have in here today are the same thing, but standing. So I'm gonna have to step back from my computer, but I'm gonna balance on one leg, lift, let's say like my right leg 6 to 8 inches off the ground, whatever I feel like I can hold for a little while. I'm gonna push through like the heel of my left leg, whatever leg is on the ground. I'm like really pushing through that side, clenching my hamstring, clenching my glute to keep my right leg like balancing. And I'm gonna see how long I can keep my foot at like 6 to 8 inches. If you like keep getting lower and lower and lower, that's your cue to break and then come back to it in a second. So I'll back up and demo real quick.
Oh, she's pretty high.
Oh.
Oops. Okay, I forgot on mute.
I pictured her sitting on the ground doing this.
My leg could actually be a little bit lower than it was in that demo too. And I personally like feel pressure in my lower back too. I think that's pretty normal because we're activating our like obliques and our transverse abs to stay balanced on one leg. And then I definitely feel it in whatever leg is raised. I feel that in the hip flexor after like the first 10 seconds are kind of easy. And then after that, I really feel it in my hip flexor. I think if you don't, we can talk about it. Because there's like a lot of little body parts being activated and sometimes things can overcompensate. But yeah, if you have questions while we're doing them, feel free to type them or
Back leg like pretty straight. It's
yeah.
like a bend in that knee, right?
Yeah, both of your legs should be relatively straight. Don't lock out the knee that's or the leg that's on the ground. Don't lock it out. Actually, don't lock out either leg for that matter. And the foot that's raised, it shouldn't be super flexed in either direction. Like you don't have to point your toe, but you also don't have to like pull your foot up. It should be a pretty neutral position for now. And then as we get better at these things, we'll like add in more flexing. Does that make sense? Does that answer a question? Cool. And then the ISO hang, I'm not sure how many people have the ability to do this from home. You can hang from like a door frame. You don't even need a pull-up bar or anything. I've hung from tree branches. If you can find something to hang on, we'll skip doing that one as a group. But if you can find something to hang on, it's such a good way to end a workout for real. Like it loosens up your entire spine. And I would say if, again, you have the ability, do these like every other day at the end of your work day anyway, especially if we're all sitting at desks for a bunch of hours a day still. This is one of the best ways to just like loosen up your spine and stretch out your shoulders and your lats and things that we don't necessarily focus on a ton. But yeah, we'll skip that one as a group because I don't know what everybody has access to. But yeah, cool. Any questions before we start the lunging? Cool. Then let's get into a lunge and accumulate 2.5 minutes on each side, all at your own pace. Feel free to like type in questions. I'm taking out my headphones, but type in questions to the chat if you have them as they come up. Let go. LFG, man. Thank you. Oh, I'll tell her you said that. I will, don't worry. I'll tell her you said that. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I'm new. Yeah, thank you. We're finishing up, so yeah. That's okay. Bye. How we feeling? Also, sorry, I wanted to make this like 11 to 12. I think I underestimated how slow and steady some of these things were. I apologize for taking up more than an hour of your day, friends. Oh my God, look at the dog doing tricks.
Thank you so much, Tori.
Yeah, man. Is Jackie still on this? Or did she leave? Because my mom called me just to say, I wanted to say hi to Jackie in the chat, but I didn't want to put her on blast. Can you tell her I say hi? So if Jackie's still here, my mom says hi, Jackie. I don't know if she is. I can't see any of your names while I'm screen sharing. So, well, that's all I have for you guys. I would suggest if you have some more time in your day, just do a little bit of stretching. Even though the iso holds feel like stretching a little bit, I would suggest doing a little bit more static stretching. You can never have too much, but that can be all on your own time. We don't need to go through that. If that was fun, I can do another one of these another time. I know some of the stuff that I've been posting in like the Shiver at Home Google Sheet has had like fast-paced circuits and like a lot of burpees and other like really fast-paced stuff to do too. Since the season's kind of up in the air, I don't know exactly what I think is better. So you guys can all let me know what you think is more fun. Something like this is pretty ultimate specific. It was like written by me and another ultimate player who has 2 degrees in kinesiology and strength and conditioning stuff. So it's very like ultimate specific and like preseason specific, and it's designed just to get our bodies like kind of ready for the movements that we use on the ultimate field, but with us not knowing if we're like gonna have much of a club season at all. If you think some of like the fast-paced CrossFit-y circuits are more fun, I would be happy to keep sending those as well, because I personally really like the workouts where I'm like get in, get out, get sweaty for 15 minutes and then like I'm done. But they're definitely not as like translatable to the ultimate field. So you guys can let me know what you want and I will send them out accordingly and can do this again if we thought it was fun. If we didn't think it was fun, then I won't do it again. Thanks for joining me. It was nice to get some sun in the middle of my day.
Thank you so much, Tori.
Yeah, of course. Did anybody else have fun? Just me. I know Gibbs did. MC said I could have her whole day, so that's awesome.
Thanks, Tori.
Yeah,
Your
and
mom was the best part.
I like sent her the link for my CrossFit stuff yesterday too. And she was like, "Oh, I just didn't want to intrude." And I was like, "Mom, I wouldn't have sent you the link if I didn't want you to join. Like, I think it would be fun to have you CrossFit workout with me." And she was like, "Oh, no, no, no." I was like, "Well, I'm doing another one tomorrow, so see you on Friday." So I'm really glad she like hopped in here. That was funny. She doesn't know how to work Zoom yet, so. All right.
I loved it.
See you guys at 8 p.m. Anybody have anything else before I
Let's
end
go
this
to
meeting?
8 p.m.
MC, you want to join Codenames?
Sure.
I don't know how to play Codenames. I have no idea what Codenames
Oh, I love
is.
code names.
Okay, cool. I don't know. I'll send you the Zoom link, I guess, because it's on Zoom, right?
How do I play it on Zoom?
I have no idea.
There's like a website. You don't have to be screen sharing or anything.
Oh.
But you can have Zoom up and then you can have the website up.
There you go.
Whoa.
That's how.
Can you send me that link too?
I can indeed. I don't think we have the Codenames link yet. We just have the Zoom link, right?
I think.
Shiver. No. Oh, they didn't make it that? Why not?
No, they have a Zoom link.
Anna
The
sent it.
Zoom link.
Did she send? She sent the Zoom link, but she didn't send like a website or anything, right?
Probably just put it in the comments of the Zoom.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's at 8 p.m. tonight, in case anyone wants to join. And if we do another one of these things, like I am happy to have non-ultimate friends join us or ultimate friends from other teams and stuff. I think Like we're all getting a little stir crazy. I personally haven't seen my roommates in like 5 days. I have no idea where they are. I've just like literally been living by myself for 5 days, which is like not bad. I kind of like it, but it's also like I have no human interaction unless I do these things. So I'm happy to have non-Shiver or non-Ultimate friends join us too if there are other people you know that would want to do something. So
That's a great idea.
No new friends.
I mean, I prefer Ultimate players, honestly, but
No, but extending the invite to other frisbee teams.
yeah, I
Even
tagged
like other women's teams in other cities could be cool. Yeah, we should definitely talk about that. That's a good idea.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to go back to work now because unfortunately it's still a work day and lunch break is over. But I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for joining.
Bye.
Thank
Love you and miss you
you.
all.
Miss
Bye.
you.
And how do I end?
Right?